Hello. Hello. I'm back with you today to talk about more about what food is and what food isn't. We're in our Outsmart Big Food, Fast Food, and Junk Food course, and we're learning all about what food is and what food isn't so that we can make the best choices for ourselves. So far we're in section 4, and so far we've gone over what plant staples are, things like potatoes and wheat and corn and rice, things like that grow from the earth. We've also gone over all the different types of protein staples, the meat protein staples, beef, chicken, fish and seafood, and pork. And now we have dairy staples. We're going to go over dairy staples and animal byproducts. We have a lot of products that come from animals and that we eat in our normal lives and that are very popular worldwide. So, as we're talking about geography and how all of these things fit into your life, I want you to think about plant staples as number one, meat staples and protein staples as number two, and dairy staples, things that come from animals. So, before we get started, I wanted to give you a little background on what a vegetarian is and what a vegan is, because that matters when we're talking about dairy staples and animal byproducts. So, a vegetarian is a person that doesn't eat any meat or seafood, but you do eat eggs and cheese and butter and things that are made from the milk of animals. If you're vegan, that means you don't eat any meat at all, and you also don't eat any animal byproducts. So, no eggs, no butter, no yogurt, no ice cream, no cheese, no animal byproducts at all. And that is what we are talking about here in this lesson, because a lot of the world does eat dairy products and dairy staples. So, first, we wanted to just get a real good baseline about what dairy means and what dairy staples are. So, mammals produce milk to feed their babies, from humans all the way to cows, and even whales in the ocean are mammals and they produce milk to feed their babies. So, one of the main characteristics of a mammal is that it will produce milk to feed its babies. And that is the milk that we're going to be talking about here today. As a quick side note, there's all kinds of plant based milks and non dairy milks like almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk. We're going to talk about those in a different lesson. Here we're talking about animal byproducts in our staples section. So we're talking about the milk that comes from mammals. Now, to contrast that, mammals produce milk and feed their babies with milk. Reptiles do not produce milk. So animals like snakes and lizards and turtles, things like this, they do not produce milk to feed their babies. Instead, they lay eggs and their babies hatch and are on their own at that point. So, the difference between a mammal and a reptile, one of the main differences is that the mammals produce milk to feed their babies, and humans are included in that group. So, most dairy is pretty high in fat. It can be processed to be a little less fatty, but when you have milk that's raw, straight from an animal, it will separate and a layer of cream will form at the top. And that cream is used to make all kinds of different products as well that we'll go into later. But I wanted you to understand that when the milk comes out and it's raw, it's all mixed with all kinds of healthy things. And when you let it sit, the cream will rise to the top. So you've heard maybe of the saying, the cream rises to the top, or, oh, he's the cream of the crop, or she's the cream of the crop. This is where that comes from. That layer of cream that rises to the top of milk. That's where we get those fun little sayings. Dairy is one of your very lower cost and high protein food sources. So, when we're talking about eggs, butter, cheese, these types of things, they have relatively high protein compared to some other foods, and they're relatively low in cost when compared to meat. So, just something to keep in mind when we're thinking about the whole world and what people eat. In the next lessons, we're going to be going all over the world and seeing what people eat all over the world. And I wanted you to have a baseline understanding that dairy staples and animal byproducts tend to be less expensive than the meat itself. Sometimes when you're hearing about dairy, you'll hear about lactose intolerance. That means that the body has trouble breaking down the lactose, which is the sugars in the milk. And so the milk industry has created different kinds of products that are for lactose intolerant people. We'll go over all of what that means in Pillar Two, Be the Boss of Your Own Body, and what lactose is, the sugars in milk, and all the different types of things in milk, and how the body processes them. But I wanted you to understand a little bit about what that word is because my kids didn't understand that. And they would see that in the grocery store. They would hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm lactose intolerant. Oh, I can't eat dairy. I'm lactose intolerant." And they didn't know what that meant. So I explained it to them and I want to explain it to you as well. So that's what that is. So, first, here, we're going to go over four different types of dairy staples and animal byproducts. The first one in this lesson, we're going to go over milks and creams. Next, we're going to do cheese. Then we're going to do eggs, a little bit different than some of the dairy products and byproducts, but eggs obviously are a byproduct of chickens. And then regular dairy products, things like butter, yogurt, cottage cheese, sour cream, things that are made from dairy. So first, here we have milks and creams. So milks and creams come from the mammals, like we said. Lots of different animals make milk. So we're used to thinking about cows making milk, but there are lots of other animals that make milk. We've got goats that make milk, and we get goat's cheese from them. Sheep's milk. We have in some parts of the world, buffalo milk is consumed, and even camel milk is consumed in some parts of the world. So lots of different animals make milk, and we make a lot of it into various products, including just to drink. So milk is high in protein, like I was saying. It's a high protein, lower cost source of protein. It has about 8 grams of protein per serving, and one serving of milk is usually said to be 1 cup. So that is not very much at all. It's a small cup, like about that big. It's 8 ounces, and it has 8 grams of protein in it. So that's a lot of protein for one glass of milk. So when you're just having a glass of milk for a snack, that's a whole snack in and of itself. Add an apple to that, add some nuts, maybe some almonds to that, and you got an amazing snack, high protein. Protein will keep you full. So this is why we're talking so much about our meat proteins and our dairy proteins. So, milk is also really fun because it can turn into all different kinds of products. So, we've done this experiment, and if you come to any of my live events, we'll do this experiment. But if you take cream, just full fat cream, and shake it in a jar for about 5 minutes, it will turn into butter. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to add anything to it. You take full fat cream and you shake it for 5 minutes and it turns into butter. I add a little salt to mine, and you have the most fresh, amazing tasting butter that you'll ever have. So that's a fun thing that if you come to one of my events, we'll do. And you can do with your kids, and kids, get your parents to buy you some full fat cream at the store or at your local farm and shake it, put it in a little mason jar or any kind of little container with a lid and shake it for 5 minutes. Maybe all of your different siblings or all your friends can take a turn shaking it, and you'll see it start to get solid, to turn into a solid. And that's butter. That's all butter is. So we don't need these butters with all kinds of different additives in it. All we need is cream shaken, add a little salt maybe if you like salt on your butter, and you've got the most fresh, beautiful butter. So it's really fun to do. Kids love it. Go try it, guys. If you take full fat cream and you add a little sugar and you add some fruit, stir it all up, and either just freeze it or you can put it in an ice cream maker. You have ice cream. So full fat cream with sugar, fruit, chocolate, whatever flavor you want. You can make full fat cream into ice cream. You can make it into butter, all kinds of delicious things. So milk and creams, they're really popular all over the world. A lot of products are made out of these things, and they're really fun to play around with as well because they're easy to make. So, here, I really wanted to show you guys where the milk comes from. So, these are several pictures of animals, of a cow, of a sheep. We have an industrial farming operation here where there's machines attached to the udders of the cows. And then right underneath that, we have a baby cow drinking milk from its mother. And so you can see kind of all the different ways that milk comes out of a cow. In the top picture here, we have someone milking a cow. And in the middle picture, we have the industrial farming operation milking the cows. And in the bottom, we have the baby drinking right out of the mother's body. So this kind of shows you all three of the ways that milk comes to you. And this is the same as what we went over in section 2, which is where your food comes from. It comes from nature. So that's the bottom picture here with the baby drinking the milk straight from the mama. It comes from small farms, which is what you see here with the person milking a cow right into a pail. And it comes from large industrial farms, which is what you see here with the machines attached to the udders of the cow. That's what the body part where the milk comes out is called on a cow. It's called an udder, udder. So lots of pictures here of that. I wanted to show you this. If you visit the farms that I highlighted in the last section, or any farm that's near you, some of the farms offer the opportunity to milk an animal, to milk a cow or to milk a sheep, and that's a really fun experience for kids. You guys will have a great time doing it. It's really different. Some county fairs have the same type of thing where you can see them milking one of these animals, or you can try it yourself, and it can be pretty cool. It can be pretty fun. So, if we go over here, we also have whipped cream. Most of you guys know what whipped cream is. If you take, again, just full fat cream and use a hand beater to mix it, it will, after about 5 minutes, it will turn light and fluffy and into whipped cream that you have on your ice cream, on your berries, on your pies, all kinds of things. Add a little sugar to it, and it's the most fresh, delicious whipped cream you'll ever have. So remember, that's the cream is the top layer of fat. You can buy it straight from the store. You can buy it from a local farm. Lots of things that you can do with cream. Cream is about 18% fat. And so that's why it's easy to be made into all these different things like butter or whipped cream. And try it out. It's really fun. So I want to give you a couple more facts about milk and cream before we move on to cheese, which is also made from milk. And I mean, we could talk about cheese all day, right? But milk and cream, a single cow can make 7 to 8 gallons of milk per day. So again, think about right here, there's a picture of a gallon of milk, and you've probably seen those in your fridge. And think about one cow can make about 7 to 8 of those per day. So if you're thinking about where your milk comes from and the large industrial farms, a lot of milk is produced per day from each of those cows. And that's how we get, a plentiful supply of milk worldwide. Um, India, the country of India, produces and consumes the most milk of any country. That was news to me. I didn't know that. But yes, India produces and consumes the most milk of any country. The Hindu religion, which is in India, which is common in India, considers the cow sacred. So they actually don't eat the beef of the cow, but they do drink the milk. And we have a whole line of courses and materials for kids to learn all about the different countries and religions and all the different food, the ways that food are used in people's lives. And this is a really interesting one, how the cow is sacred in India, but how they do drink the most milk out of any country. So, and like I said before, people drink milk from goats, from sheep, from buffalo, from camels, from yaks, which is kind of like a cow type of animal in some countries. And it's just a really great source of protein that was created for us to use and to consume and provide us with with a lot of nutrients. Again, there's all different kinds of eating styles. Some people choose not to drink any milk or any dairy. Some people are lactose intolerant. Some people don't like the way that they digest dairy. It doesn't make them feel the way they want to feel. So a lot of people leave dairy out of their diets. Here it says, look, kids, I want to give you all the information about all the food. And then you decide with your family and for yourself what is going to be the best way to eat for you, whether you're going to include meat, whether you're going to include dairy, whether you're going to include all these different things. So, this is just to give you a foundational knowledge of what food is, what food isn't, and how to use it in your life. All right, we're going to be going over and talking about cheese next. And again, I want you to keep all of these foods in mind that we're talking about. One, plant staples, two, protein staples, and now we're talking about dairy staples. So head on over to cheese and we'll get a bit of a foundational education on cheese.